So
we have a pile of vintage pens, but not all the vintage pens we have. But
yes, a bunch of them.
Yeah, and these are like some of my favorites.
Yes. We've done a top 5 modern pens. That was one of our oldest videos.
But now we're going to do.
It, so we're doing vintage pens.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to do a top 5 vintage pens because, well, first off, sometimes it's hard to get them.
Yeah,
so not everybody's.
Pens are a lot of the time harder to find because they're no longer made.
Yeah, so you might not be able to find these, but these are from our collection, and they're some of my favorites. So I have more vintage pens, but I didn't pull them all out. So I do have what I think are my top 5 in here, though.
Yeah.
If I was to pick my top 5, and nothing in here is overly expensive or rare, I don't think, but there are a couple nice ones in here, and so I'm just gonna. We're just going to look through the pens, and I'll slowly select favorites, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So anyway, what do we have here first? Let's start right here. So this is an old pen, made in Canada by a Canadian company, and it's an Eclipse. And it feels like it's a
Looks very pretty.
hard rubber, plastic, Bakelite vintage fountain pen, probably over almost 100 years old, and it has a gold nib, and it has one of the more flexy gold nibs that I have, and I don't have it inked up at the moment. It's a lever filler. It has a latex sac inside, and I got this, and it needed a little bit of repair, and it's actually in very good shape. There's a little bit of brassing on the band, but otherwise it's in good shape. Gold-filled clip.
Looks very pretty.
It is very pretty, and it has this rather interesting sort of, square pattern on the body, right?
Some detailing.
Chased. I don't know what you call that. Anyway, so that's probably, actually, you know what? That would be in my top 5 for sure.
Okay.
Because it's just a rare piece.
We should set aside the top 5.
Yeah, well, I'm going to... How do we do this? So I'm going to set that one right in the center. So that's in the top 5 for sure. Let's eliminate a couple here. Okay, we're going to... that's a tough one. Okay, I'm going to go for this one here. And that's a Pilot. And it's from the 60s, 70s. And it's
Pilots are always nice.
Pilots are always nice. And actually, I would have to... I'm not going to put that one in my top 5 yet. We'll see. It has a gold nib. It has a rather interesting nib. It's called Super Quality, and it's a little firmer than most Pilot nibs, but it's a very nice writer. It was probably used in... the nib is probably a specialized nib for, say, carbon copies or something like that. It just seems a little hard, but it's very nice, and it writes very well.
One pen.
And it's in good shape.
I really like, just from looking.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
This is the mystery one,
the mystery pen, and we don't know what it is, but we know that the nib, which it has a really good nib, and it's by George Peter Rupp.
We're trying to focus.
Back of it, there's a lot of background stuff, so it's a little hard. But anyway, this is sort of a lovely writer.
Yes.
And it's piston filler. It has an ink window.
I just want to say that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, gold.
Gotta be up there.
It's got to be up there.
Like, probably my top 5.
All right, we're going to put that in here, in the center. We're going to put that one over here.
Can we take a peek at those?
These two?
Those two are very pretty pens. They're very similar to each other. Slightly different, but
actually,
let's talk about them.
This is a Parker. That's a Parker 45.
Yep.
And this is a Pelican 12 Silvexa.
I like the Pelican a bit more.
You like the Pelican a bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Pelican's actually probably inspired a bit by the 45.
Yeah. They definitely are very similar pens.
Yeah. Now, both of them work very well. The Parker 45 has a gold nib, and it's semi-hooded, and the pen is in excellent shape, except for around the section here. This pen was known to shrink a bit, so you can feel it right there, just in the section. Otherwise, it has very few scratches, and the nib is very nice on this one. This one has a steel nib. It's lost a bit of its gold plating. It was gold plated. I got it. The nib was in bad shape. I had to straighten it up a bit. It still writes very nicely. It's kind of kind of a medium to a broad. The body is in excellent shape. And it's, you know, it's one of those things, if I ever come across a better nib, I will put it in this pen because the body is in such good shape. It's a 12, so that's a Pelican 12 Silvexa. Personally, I would have to say I lean more to the 45 at the moment, just because it writes, this writes well, this writes really nicely. So the Parker 45, I'm going to put in my top list, and then I'm going to set that aside. Okay?
They look very pretty.
It is. They're both very pretty pens. Let's talk about, oh my gosh, here comes a cat. Oh, you stay out of the pens. Actually, here's another interesting pilot. It has a really nice nib. Probably from the 70s or 60s. Very good shape. It's missing a little clutch ring in here. That's the only thing wrong with this pen. If I ever come across another one, I'll put a clutch ring on it. But otherwise, it's in excellent shape. And it's a nice writer, but I wouldn't put it in my top 5. 2
pens I want to point out. These two. Because they have very similar body designs.
Well, they're both celluloid.
Like the streak.
They're both celluloid.
Kind of thing, which I just want to say, this kind of streaky, nice, mixed
probably both from
design. I don't see it that much on more modern pens. But really, I think it looks super nice.
If you see this material on a modern pen, it's very expensive.
Yeah, that's not very common on
No, but at the time...
So, you only find vintage pens, really, that are affordable and have that design. And really, I love how it looks.
Now, these are from about the same period, I'd say in the 1940s, we're going to say. This is a Moore 94A. This is a Waterman's 513J. Now,
both of them are beautiful.
Both of them are beautiful. This is a green striped celluloid, very attractive. I personally
like that one a bit more.
You like this one a bit more?
It's kind of jade.
Both of them have gold nibs. This is a Waterman Ideal nib, I believe, on it. I would place it probably more towards a broad, actually, or medium, American medium, maybe. Very nice. This is more of a fine. Of the two, the Waterman's the better writer. This is a very nice writer. I lean towards this one. They're both lever fillers, and I would put that in my top 5. I would put that probably very close.
It's up there.
Now,
what is the last of your top 5?
Well, this is my Conway Stewart 106. I'm very fond of this pen. I really like it. It's kind of a grail pen. I'm going to put it in this here for now. We're going to whittle this down a bit more. So, we got...
I like that one.
This is a student pen. It's a Gaia from Germany, West Germany at the time. And the thing about this pen, even though it's a student pen, it has a steel nib, wasn't at the time of manufacture made of the highest quality materials. It actually is quite well made, very nicely made actually. And the nib, for a steel nib aimed at children, writes really well, and it has a little bit of bounce to it.
Yeah.
Almost, I'm not going to say it's flexy, but surprisingly springy nib. And Gaia had this little gimmick where they had a little button here. You see that?
Yeah.
And when your pen ran out of ink, you pushed that down, and you got a little bit more ink, so you could finish writing.
Oh.
Very odd little gimmick.
So it just gives you a tiny...
Just a tiny that you could probably finish your page, right?
It's like...
But I'm not going to put it in my top 5.
Last bit of toothpaste.
Yeah. Now this is a really pretty pen.
That's a nice looking pen.
And it's made in what used to be Czechoslovakia. And it's the Centropen 10016. And it has a lot of chatoyance. And it's like, you look into that.
It's blasting music.
Yeah. So beautiful pen. And nice writer, steel nib with a bit of gold plating on it. I wouldn't put it in my top 5. All right? Now then, here we have 2 pens that look fairly similar in some ways. This, even though the colors are different, you know, relatively, similar materials in some ways at first appearance. This is a plastic. This is an Oxychrome 55. And oddly enough, this is one of my favorite pens. And it's an excellent writer. Well made. It's probably, once again, you know, made in Spain. Steel nib. Smooth writer. Nice weight to it.
Yeah.
It's very very nice material. Like whatever this resin or plastic is, pretty. It's very well made. It doesn't feel cheap in the hand. Nice weight to the cap. And it's, you know, oddly enough, you can cap that and not write with it for quite a while, and it will start up all the time. I've never had this actually. I've never had this sort of not start. I'm going to put it in my list too, but we'll figure this out.
It down.
Okay, and this actually is one of my treasures, even though it doesn't look like much.
It looks very simple.
It's very simple. It's based on, of course, the Parker 51. I don't have a Parker 51, but
is that a famous pen?
Parker 51 is a very famous pen.
Okay.
But this is an Aurora 88P. And the Aurora was made in Italy. Has a gold nib. The section here and the piston knob are ebonite. And the body is celluloid. So it's actually made of very, very high quality materials.
Looks good.
It's piston filler, so the whole body fills with ink. There is an ink window. It's hard to see right now. But when you turn this knob, usually when you turn a knob, it moves back, right? It pulls out. You can see where the joint is. But this almost has like a reverse gear, so when you turn it, it doesn't move, but it does move the piston. And when you turn it the other way, the piston moves that way. Very nice. That would actually be in my top 5. Now then. That's a nice pen.
Now we gotta whittle it down. I think we should kind of cut some of these because they look basically all the same. Also,
I like gold, black and gold. I'm going to take that out.
Is very nice.
I'm going to take that one out, even though it's an excellent writer.
I think we should maybe get rid of this one.
No, I'm going to take that
It has a very nice nib, but we don't even know what it is.
Yeah. So I'm going to pull that out.
You can't get it if you want to get this.
Yeah.
list.
So that leaves me with a rather odd assortment of pens.
They're very nice.
So my top 5. Conway Stewart 106.
Really good one.
Really good one. Classic British pen.
Just really pretty, sleek,
you know,
nice.
Really
simple,
nice, really nice writer.
Simple
Smooth
design, but
yeah, very nice.
And
that would be my top 5. This, of course, is in my top 5. It's probably in the best condition of all my vintage pens. So I would probably go. So that would probably be...
Can you order them?
Can I order them? Yeah. If I was to order them, even though this has a few dings in it, banged up a little bit, the Aurora 88 would be number 1. This would be number 2, right? The Eclipse would be number 2. The Waterman 513J would be number 3.
Yeah.
Parker 45 would be 4.
Yeah.
And the Conway Stewart 106 would be number 5.
I think they're all very nice pens.
You think those are all nice pens?
Yeah. I just think pens are neat.
And if I had to pick a 6th one, I would probably go, if I had to pick a 6th one, gosh, I couldn't pick a 6th one.
Personally, nice. I'd go with this
You'd go with the Moore?
I'd go with the Moore. It's a very nice pen.
Yeah, so that's...
Either the Moore
So that is the... Those two?
This.
So those two are the honorary mention. The Moore 94A and the Oxychrome 55.
Some of Sam's favorites.
Some of Sam's favorites. But anyway, there you have it. That's like my weird little top 5. And, you know, that's going to change as I get more pens, of course. And I'm always changing my opinions of what my top 5 pens. If I had to pick my top 5 modern pens right this moment, it would be different than it was when I the first video.
Yep.
So next year when I do a top 5,
yeah, we'll probably do another one of those videos to see how we've changed.
Because I've added a pen or two that I would really have to put on my list. Yeah.
Thanks everybody for watching to the end.
Yeah.
Mom has just arrived.
I will put links. Yeah, I will put links up to these if I have other reviews, and I'll write a list of what they are in the description.
And also, if you want to see a different top 5, or like curious about like what are your least favorite pens, or like this
my
and
top
that.
5
If you
least
had
favorite
recommendations, we'd love to hear them, and we'd also love to hear your top 5 favorite vintage pens of your own.
That's a good idea.
We would love to hear everyone's say and what everyone thinks.
Yeah, and if you like the video, give us a thumbs up.
Yeah.
If you have any of these pens, and let us know.
Yeah, subscribe if you
have any of the ones that didn't make it into the top 5, let us know.
Yeah.
And thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
All right, have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.